what you're worth. Now go out and get what you're worth.
I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Welcome to the Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? It's we're playing the greatest radio show. Jim Stella and Johnny Parlay with the facts. So relax, grab a drink, then let's kick back.
It's Monday Night Madness this week, Pittsburgh. Thanks for tuning into the show. I am your host, Jim Sella, and you're listening to The Spread. I'm in studio with Jay Dash and Easy making his second guest appearance of the day, filling in for Johnny Parlay. What's up, buddy?
Sports guru.
You know, Parlay's getting paid and you're filling in, so you may want to hit him up and tell him, you know, that little bit of loot that you owe him is now null and void, right?
That's it.
I think you're back to zero.
What's he getting paid with? Miller Lights.
Yeah, well, you know, Miller Lights and a pack of heaters. Well, let's talk about this Steeler-Houston game coming up. Pittsburgh is 3-3 this year. They've alternated wins and losses, and that puts them at last place in the AFC North. Last place.
Like we said in the recap for the last game, that this is where they deserve to be.
Yeah, at 3-3, it's where they deserve to be, but it's still depressing.
I mean, 3-3 is not even the worst record in the world. It's easy to come back from, but the way they play is why they deserve to be in the bottom of the division.
Oh, I understand that, man, but if they keep playing this way, they're going to be 8-8 again.
Well, listen, they have the least points scored at 124 and most points given up at 139 within the division. So, yeah. I mean, why would they not be in last place?
And they're -1 in the turnover battle.
1 and 2 in the division, so they got a uphill battle to climb, too.
It's pathetic, man.
Whatever happened to rushing the quarterback? Whatever happened to our guy? Whatever happened to our guys getting to the quarterback? That's why
we won.
Yeah.
And now we don't. We just kind of run around in front of them, wave our arms like a bunch of little girls.
Yeah, outside of the Carolina game, which was weeks back, the Steelers have had no pass rush all season long.
No. Jason Worlds is the Steelers' best pass rusher, okay? And Pro Football Focus, which charts every play of every team, they rated Worlds as our best pass rusher. They had him playing more than any other defender this year with 385 snaps. That includes penalties. They count him rushing the passer on only 128 of those 385 plays. He had to cover a receiver 96 times on 385 plays and then stop the run the other 156.
So how many sacks did he have? Does it say that?
He only has like 2 sacks this year.
Well, I mean, Cam Hayward leads the team with 3, so that means he has 2 or less.
1 less.
2 or less.
2 or less, yeah.
Yeah, so he has 2 sacks or less. So
right, so
let's say he has 2. Congratulations, you're terrible.
Well, he's got to rush the passer more is my point, man. Why do you have your best pass rusher covering receivers 96 times?
Well, it's a part of the 3-4 defense that we're running, man.
Well, that's the Bo scheme. If you can't put your best pass rusher in covering situations, then you're just taking away what he does good. You're paying him over $9 million a year to sack the quarterback, not cover Calvin Johnson.
What makes him the best pass rusher by their terms? Like,
I don't know, man.
What is he doing to say he has good pass rush? Because
I
don't see it.
He has the most sacks and the least amount of rushes, most likely.
Well, then he rushed 4 times this season because he only has 2 sacks.
He rushed 128 times, man.
So he has 2 sacks and 128 rushes, and you're calling him good pass rusher.
Well, that's the point. We have no pass rush. That's Easy's point. Where are the sacks?
Yeah, I understand.
Our best pass rusher has 2 sacks.
I'm with you.
It's garbage, man. What happened to getting 55 sacks a year? We're on pace for like 24. We got 9 this year.
Listen, the one positive out of this is they're going up against Ryan Fitzpatrick, and he's one guy that you can take down.
And if you get to him in time, he does get rid of the ball kind of quick. He's getting older, so it's not quite as fast. But
he's never been a great quarterback.
Well, they're going to have to get to him in the first quarter, though, because what is that? He's last in the AFC with a 58.9 passer rating in the first quarter.
Oh, yeah, he's terrible in the first quarter.
That sets up perfect for Houston, though, because the Steelers are great at getting a big lead and blowing it in the second half.
Yeah, and they almost came back on the Colts last week, and the Colts are actually a good team. So don't be surprised if Pittsburgh jumps out to a 24-0 lead and ends up losing the game 31-24.
They've already showed it in previous weeks, so really, that's what I think is going to happen. I think the Steelers are going to be winning the half, probably not 24-0, but they're going to be winning, and then they're going to find a way to blow it.
What do you think, Easy, is the biggest problem with the Steelers this year? Is it players or coaches? Because interestingly enough, Mike Tomlin and Bill Cowher have identical records 6 games into their 8th season at 74-44. That's tied for the best coaching start in team history. All these people are calling for Tomlin's job, but I don't think anybody was calling for Cowher's job at that point.
It seems like they have the potential to do more, and why are they not doing more? So the first thing is coaching. You would believe that the coaches have a hand, obviously, in schemes and what they want to do, and if they're not getting it done, that's who you have to criticize first. I mean, besides dropped passes and fumbling and interceptions,
especially on the
you judge the coaches first.
Especially on the offensive side of the ball, where we have all these stars, it seems like, in Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, and Heath Miller's an above-average tight end. You don't think Heath Miller's still a good tight end?
Heath Miller is almost like Ed Reed right now.
No,
dude's there just because he's there.
He doesn't have the speed that he did early in his career, but he still catches the ball just as well as he ever did, and he still blocks just as well as he ever did.
They better draft a tight end soon. Because...
Well, I'm not saying he's going to last another 10 years, man, but he's still a top 10 tight end in the AFC.
I mean, yeah, they're going to need another tight end soon, but he is definitely above average at a weak tight end position throughout
every
the
time
league.
he catches the ball nowadays. I think he's going to get hit and fumble to shit, though.
No, not Heath, man. He barely ever fumbles the ball, dude. He's been one of our most consistent players since he's come to the team.
Yeah,
I'd like to see him get it. Maybe they don't throw to him, so we don't even know.
Listen, 2 catches, 19 yards last week. They need to throw. We said this so many times.
Right before the Carolina game, we said throw him the ball, and then they threw him the ball. He scored a touchdown. What happened? We blew him out.
Yeah, we win the game.
What scares me though is Clowney practice today.
Yeah, this
defense hasn't been that great though. Outside of J.J. Watt, this defense has been below average. What are they? 28th in passing yards allowed and 22nd in rushing allowed. That's not good. But
if you put Watt and Clowney on opposite sides and let them rush the passer, Watt, I'm almost positive he's going to be going against Marcus Gilbert, which we all know right now is a recipe for a huge disaster. Because Gilbert is terrible against speed rushers, and then you're going to have Clowney on the other side against.
We'll have to see what Clowney does.
Beecham, I think Beecham.
We're taking it for granted that Clowney's some beast here. We got to see what he does.
He's going to be a beast, dude.
He may be a beast, but do you think he's just going to come into this first game of his NFL career and be a beast? I don't know.
Did you think Bubby Hoyer can go and dominate the Steelers and be a beast in his first 8 games?
Well, he is 6-2 as his Cleveland's quarterback.
Right,
so
but nobody would have thought that he was going to be 6-2 is my point.
I understand, but
Clowney will be a beast. That's just my opinion.
Eventually.
Well, speaking of sacks, guess who's been sacked the second most times in the league? Hard to guess? Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, with what, 17?
17.
Okay, and J.J. Watt leads the NFL with 20 hits on the quarterback this season. So
right.
That is a recipe for disaster.
Huge disaster, man. It's this offense that Haley runs, dink and dunk. It's supposed to keep Ben on his feet. It doesn't. And it doesn't produce points.
Speaking of J.J. Watt, he has as many touchdowns as our rushing game.
Oh, yeah. He has 3 for the year.
And that's what our rushing game has.
Right.
Now, over under 5 touchdowns for J.J. Watt on the season. I heard that someone talking about this earlier, and I was just wondering your guys' opinion on it. Will he have...
He'll have 8 by the end of the year.
8 touchdowns.
They're going to start... They're using him more at tight end in goal line situations.
I mean, if they use him at tight end, I could see that, but...
He could easily catch four touchdowns. You know what? He might get 8 touchdowns against the Steelers this week. Because you know what we do throwing those screen passes? What is he best at? Faking you out, thinking you're going to rush, and then he just stands up and puts that giant arm in the air, dude, and snatches the ball right out of the air. I guarantee you he intercepts one of Ben's screen passes this week and takes it back for a touchdown.
That's a guarantee.
That's a guarantee. It's going to happen. Pick 6, J.J. Watt.
All you're getting is a guaranteed piece of bleep.
Bleep. In a box.
In a box.
It makes you feel all warm inside.
But listen, the thing I'm most worried about in this game is the Steelers' run defense. I know by their rankings in terms of yardage, they're not that bad. But we all know that the Steelers get run over by good running backs. And Arian Foster is one of the better running backs in the league.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm more worried about the Steelers' run defense or the Steelers on third down and in the red zone on offense. It's a toss-up between the two. We need Mr. Parlay's dartboard to throw darts at it and decide.
The problem is if Houston gets up on the Steelers, they're
We're going to abandon the run.
It's
We're
going to
throw
look
50,
terrible.
50 screen passes and lose.
It's going to look just like last week if that happens.
Yeah. The Steelers, their offense is going to come from behind offense because they don't put points on the board. They think they're going to control the clock by throwing the ball 4 yards and then getting tackled. If you want to do that, just run the ball. You got Bell and Blunt. Run the ball. It's not that hard. And I'm not saying run the ball 13 straight times. You got to have good balance. Todd Haley is just, he is the offensive problem. It's Todd Haley.
Definitely.
Period.
I don't think I have to say it anymore. I've been saying it for the past 5-6 weeks that Todd Haley has to go. We shouldn't even have came into the season with this guy.
Nope.
8 games from the end of last year. Let him keep his job. And
because they ran the no huddle and let Ben call the plays. And now this year's no huddle, they're not letting Ben call the plays. If you watch the tape, when they go into no huddle, they're still not snapping the ball until about 4 to 5 seconds left on the clock. They're just not huddling. That's the only difference. Ben still looks at the sideline. He still waits for the play call, and then he uses hand signals to tell the players, but there's just no huddle. He's not calling the plays this year.
I would just let Haley call the play, and if I didn't like it, I'd change the play at the line. Come out to the line earlier and change the play. Let's see the defense, how they line up, and then make your decision instead of looking to the sidelines until there's 5 seconds left on the play, and whatever you call, you got to go with then.
Other teams are allowed to do that, but Ben Roethlisberger's not allowed to do that. They handcuff their franchise quarterback. We're the only team that does.
I could see if you had an offensive coordinator that was one of the better ones in the league, but when you have a guy like Todd Haley, that just makes no sense.
No, he's garbage.
Todd Haley stinks. We know this. But the Steelers have to put it together at some point, right? I mean, they can't just keep going along right like this. And this is a perfect week to do it.
Yeah, Monday prime time at home. They shine.
And plus, Houston hasn't been good on the defense, especially in the past 2 weeks. They let up 694 yards and 5 TDs in the past 2 games. So, I mean, now is the time to put it together against a team like this before, Indy next?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah, that's good.
If you don't put it together by Indy, you're done.
You got to get this victory because you don't want to fall to 3-5 if Indianapolis beats you.
Yeah, we're already counting Indy as the loss, so
this is a must-win.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
I would say so.
It's not a tell-all end the season, but if you lose this game and then go to 3-5 after that, you only can lose one more game the whole rest of the year if you want to make the playoffs. And you don't want to limit yourself like that and have to do what they did last year, win the go 6-2 down the stretch, but then get screwed by the refs and not even make the playoffs.
And the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, bleep the Chiefs. That's why you
pick of the
picked
week.
them too.
Yeah,
you loser.
I do hate the Chiefs, but they are my pick of the week.
I think don't you have a picture or a poster of Alex Smith on your wall at home? That's what Easy said.
You're dead wrong.
He has a Doxter McCluckster jersey.
Doxter McCluckster.
I know. I think the 2 biggest threats for Houston's offense this week is going to be Johnson and Hopkins. The Steelers' defensive backs are garbage. Cortez Allen got that huge contract. He's garbage.
Benched, I think.
Andre Johnson hasn't been
him.
that great this season until last week. He did have a breakout game with 99 yards and a touchdown. And Hopkins has been consistent all year. Besides last week, he had a down week. I really like Hopkins, and Johnson is getting a little bit old, so I don't know. I just think their rushing game is going to get it done, so there's going to be no need to use Fitzpatrick.
Well, they benched Allen. Do you think that's going to be a wake-up call for him, Easy, or do you think he's just really that bad?
I like to think that backups are like waiting to get in and shine and wanting to prove their naysayers and their doubters wrong. So, bench him. Let's give, who's it, McCain?
McCain, yeah, he had that pick six.
Let's give McCain a shot. Let's see what happens. You can't get any worse.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
why not?
Give us Shamarko. Oh, Shamarko's hurt, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have him in there too. I mean, now's the time to get him in when he's healthy, obviously.
My biggest point here that I want to make with the Steelers defense is think back a few years before we got Polamalu and Dick LeBeau was our coordinator. Who was our safety? Lee Flowers. Now, what happened to Lee Flowers? He hit the wall so fast at the end of his career, and he was just absolute garbage his last 2 years. The Steelers defense struggled mightily in those 2 years. We drafted Troy. His first year, he struggled because he couldn't understand the defense. But then as soon as you got him in there, he knew what he was doing and became that playmaking safety that he could. We thrived. Now, Troy's hit that wall. So let's get Schmarko in there when he's healthy. Let's
Really?
get him to learn this defense, and maybe that'll bring us back at least a little bit closer to that elite status that we used to have.
Troy's at the end of the wall, too. He hit that wall a while ago.
He
It's
did.
not like he just hit it and now we got 2
Because
years
he went
of
so
this.
hard his whole
Oh,
career.
yeah.
What a great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Troy Polamalu is
He's great.
one of, if not the greatest defender for the Steelers that I got to see in my lifetime.
Yeah, definitely. He played his whole career here. He gave his heart and soul to this team, and the dude really doesn't even like football that much.
However, I might go Rod Woodson still.
You know, Woodson, Polamalu,
Woodson went to Baltimore, though. That's when he dropped off my
yeah,
radar.
and Oakland.
San Francisco.
Ah.
He played for all those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Troy stayed here. He stayed true to the Steelers. And I know the Steelers cut Rod, and it's a business, so I'm not going to hate on him. But, you know, Troy won Super Bowls here. Rod won
Yeah.
Super Bowls in
Polamalu
Baltimore.
needs to open up a Polamalu All-Star Grill.
Believe that. I'd go there all the time. Eat the Polamalu sandwich. It has a big, long
King's
piece
Hawaiian
of hair in
bun.
it every time.
it's on a King's Hawaiian bun.
all Samoan barbecue. A pig roast every day. I'd love that.
Love Troy Polamalu, and you know he ain't the Polamalu of old. So why wouldn't Dick LeBeau have him doing something maybe he could be capable of doing and still make an impact?
And
It doesn't seem like any adjustments have been made. Maybe
That's
they
why
don't need to
now's,
be made. I
now's
don't
the
know.
time to start getting younger players in. That's
Why
that's
not?
what they say they're going to do. We'll have to see. Like
was
you said, they're going to
busted on
bench
that one
Allen
play.
for McCain. On the offensive side, they said something. Maybe Martavius Bryant might get a little bit more playing time. Now's the time because things aren't looking good. So what do you have to lose?
Why not play Shamarko even just a little more? Think if Troy is having a hard time playing every snap like he's used to. What if we limited him to maybe 50 snaps a game? Do you think you could get maybe a little bit
And
more
don't play
of
him
an
at
upgrade?
inside
You know?
linebacker.
Troy would be able to play a little harder and only having to play 50 snaps than having to try to save himself. Maybe for certain plays playing all 75 to 90 snaps.
Right.
So if you're getting Shamarko in there, he's A, learning with other good players around him, and B, you're saving Troy for maybe a playoff run and, looking at bigger plays.
I don't
Because
care
that's what we're lacking is splash plays.
What? Speaking of the Texans, they're what are they 3-3?
3-3.
3-3 this year. They win 2 games last year.
Yeah.
So it's still the same personnel as that were on the team last year.
Yep.
Generally, so they're garbage.
Yeah.
Monday night Pittsburgh, they're garbage. I don't like
We
them.
should win.
I don't like them.
It should be a pretty easy game for the Steelers. Looking at it on paper, it should be an easy game, but I don't know.
I disagree. Looking on paper, I would say the Steelers can't stop a good running back. Yeah, they're pretty good when it comes to the numbers because they played the worst running teams in the NFL this season in Tampa, in Jacksonville, and I think there was another one. Oh, yeah, Carolina is horrible against the run. But you've seen what Cleveland did last week, and I think Houston is just as good as Cleveland in the run game.
Cleveland, this, Sella. They were due.
Yeah,
Cleveland was due
It's
to
a
pick
division
one up
game
against us.
Yeah, they
It was
almost
8
beat us in week 1.
What was he? 18-1. Roethlisberger was 18-1.
Yeah, in the one game we went
The
to,
one
we
game we
lost.
seen and witnessed. I remember that, but still, I mean, at some point you're just due.
Right.
The whole city was due.
Well-
And I blame it on LeBron. If LeBron would have stayed in Miami, the freaking Browns would have never won that game last week.
Okay, speaking of due, so the Steelers are due then, right?
Yeah, well, because they're alternating wins and
no,
losses.
no, I wouldn't say they're due because on Monday night at home they shine. Look at their record. I wouldn't call a win. I wouldn't call
Yeah,
a
but
win
that's
this
what,
Monday
one
being,
game a season?
being due for it. No, I just think in prime time they step up. They play down to their opponents. They play up on prime time.
Yeah, I agree.
mean,
I think they're going to
If
win
this
the game.
was Sunday 1:00, it would be different. Monday night home, I don't know. I like him.
I think Big Ben's going to have a big game this week.
Oh, I could see Big Ben's had a decent season all besides the last week, but what I'm looking at is third down percentage and the red zone touchdown percentage. And
It's
until
terrible.
they figure those two things out, there is no reason for me to pick the Steelers to win any game because they look terrible in these areas. And penalties, too. Too many penalties. They have fixed that, so that is an improvement.
Oh, yeah, penalties improved over the last 2 weeks.
But I see no improvement in third down percentage and red zone percentage. So until I do, I'm saying the Steelers have good players and not the right coaching.
Yeah,
and they're just not gonna. I'm not gonna pick them to win. No chance.
The offensive coaching's definitely not there. It may be the end of the road for Dick LeBeau, and although I can guarantee you Tomlin won't be fired even in the next 3 years if he loses all three. There may be.
That's pushing it. That's pushing it.
Man, I'm telling you.
He goes. What's that? He goes 4-12. He's fired. I don't care what year.
I don't think
He goes 4-12 this year. He's fired this year.
I
disagree with that. But next year, if they repeat,
okay, 2 years then.
Yeah, if they do this for
4
2 years,
4-12, he's out.
I think he has. Cowher got 3 losing seasons, and I think Tomlin has 3 losing seasons in leeway.
Yeah.
He could lose 3 in a row before the Steelers
don't
would think about making a chance.
Don't forget,
change.
Pittsburgh fans. Cowher had some down seasons.
Yeah.
He started out hot and then he went downhill for a while.
Yeah, you got to retool sometimes. You hit that wall with the salary cap. They kept pushing all those contracts back, so they really inflated that. It made it hard for him to get good players.
But the one thing Cowher would do is he will fire a coach if he needs to.
Yeah, and he drafted well to replenish his talent when he hit that wall, and Tomlin hasn't done either one of those.
2 Steelers and a Houston this week is what
I'm going Steelers. Easy.
23-17 Steelers.
I don't think the Steelers are going to score 20 points.
I'm going to say 21-6 Steelers.
21-6.
Okay. That dude runs his own Pittsburgh radio show.
Houston won their last meeting 17-10, but that was in Houston.
Yeah.
I see another game like this, a low-scoring game, because the Steelers can't score in the red zone. So
Didn't they come to Pittsburgh?
I'll say 16-13 Houston.
Didn't Houston come to Pittsburgh and have under 100 yards total and win the game the one year?
Tommy Maddox year. Maddox threw 2 or 3
Didn't they have under 100 yards total?
Maddox
and
threw
won
2
the
or
game.
3 pick sixes. I think that might have been the game when he got blasted and they took him out on a stretcher.
That's why we're going to win Monday night. Because the last time, was that the last time they came here? I don't know.
The last time they came here was in 2008. They lost 38-17 to Pittsburgh.
Okay, that was Ben Roethlisberger then.
I do remember, though, in Houston's first or second year, I went to a game in Pittsburgh, and Houston was the worst team in the league, and they came in and beat us 28-0.
Yeah, I can't believe I remember back that far.
Yeah, you're definitely thinking about that Tommy Maddox game. I know exactly what game. It was the game he came back from when he got drilled in the spine, and they had to take him out on a stretcher and everything. He came back. He really stunk it up. The Steelers just blew that game.
Still, though, it doesn't matter. Monday night, Pittsburgh, rowdy fans, get that tailgate going, get that party downtown, get that beer
All
flowing.
my rowdy friends are back for Monday night. They need to bring him back because the Monday night song is garbage now.
Who is it? Faith Hill or something?
Yeah, if it's not Hank
No,
Williams,
Faith Hill's
it's garbage.
Sunday night. No, she ain't even Sunday night. It's Carrie Underwood.
Oh, Carrie Underwood, yeah. Anyways, it's all garbage.
That's gorgeous, but you're gorgeous, Carrie.
Yeah. You're hot, but you can't sing, so just hit mute for a while and then wait for the game to start.
No, you can sing and you look great. Get at me.
All right, I might have to move my chair a little bit further away from Easy here because he's starting to scare me. Thank you, fans, for tuning in tonight. You can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. Check out our Facebook page.
Where can she follow you, Madden?
Well, yeah,
she can follow me in Rilton.
At Mad Digital. You can check out our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit us up. Email, Twitter, Facebook. Any way you want, man. Ask us questions. Ask us whatever you want. We got your back. We're here to spit that sports knowledge, Pittsburgh.
All right.
Have a good night.